Welcome to BattleTech in the Morning with Captain Nips. I'm Captain Nips, and in today's BattleTech backer video, I would like to dive in on something that will hopefully turn into a longer-term project. So, I've been a huge fan of BattleTech, the IP, the franchise, for a very long time. I love the lore, I love giant stompy robots, and I love the mech designs. And one of the things that you come to discover as you dig into it in BattleTech is that some of the canon mech designs are real bad. There are some real questionable decisions in terms of the way certain mechs are built or designed. And as a consequence, we get a little bit of that questionable canonical design in the backer beta via the mechs that we have available. So what I would like to do is take an opportunity here to look at some mechs that I think could stand to be redesigned, sometimes a little, sometimes a lot, and look at how we can smooth out some of the rough edges of the mechs with the idea that sometime down the road we get the campaign, we get the mech lab, and we get to go to town on these things. So, to start out, something that has been bothering me for some time is the Kintaro. Now, the Kintaro is not exactly my favorite mech. I've never liked the art. If you've ever looked at the technical readout art, it's basically atrocious. I think that one of the best things that's ever happened to the Kintaro is that it got the art redesign by Piranha Games for MechWare Online, which has translated over to the BattleTech backer beta, because it's actually a really good. I like this mech. I like what it's got going on. It's a 55-ton medium with a trio of SRM-6s, 2 medium lasers, and an LRM-5. It's got 97% armor coverage. It's got decent speed. Doesn't have jump jets, so it's a little less maneuverable. But piling all of that into one mech leaves some room for improvement. So for one, its heat management is atrocious. Anyone that's played any matches with Kintaro knows that you fire one salvo, you fire one alpha, and then you basically have to take the next turn off if you don't want to overheat or shut down. Sometimes a good pilot with a high guts value can help mitigate this a little bit, but not really enough. Also, there's a clear through line in the build of what the weapons are equipped here. Trio of SRMs and 2 medium lasers is a very potent mid to short range build. And then there's a random LRM-5 on here, which is a thing you will see repeated throughout many 30-20 era and earlier mechs. The random LRM-5, because, quote, fire support, unquote, is a thing that everything apparently needed to provide. So what I want to do in this series of videos, and we're starting with this Kintaro, is I want to look at a way to, within some certain assumptions with the way the game is going to work down the line, rebuild this to make it more in line with what seems to be its operational mandate. A lot of words. Let's take a look at a chart. So, using a tool external to the BattleTech game, you will notice that on the left is the loadout for the base Kintaro-18, the KTO-18. It's got the SRM-6s, it's got medium lasers, it's got that LRM-5 in the arm. You'll notice that the armor coverage is pretty good, 176 of 185. Now that's tabletop numbers. If you multiply those by 5, you'll get the BattleTech beta game values. But basically it's 95% covered in armor, which is great. I don't feel like you really need to do anything there. But you'll also notice at the very bottom, according to tabletop values, it can dissipate 10 heat a turn because it 10 single heat sinks, and can generate 22. Now, some of that is movement, and some of that is, that's all of the guns firing all at once. When we get the mech lab, I'm assuming that we're going to be modifying our mechs according to a hardpoint model, similar to what MechWare Online uses and similar to what some of the older MechWare games have used. So let's assume for the moment that the weapons loadout on the KTO-18 provides those hard points. You've got missile hard points where the SRMs are and the LRM. You've got energy hard points where the medium lasers are. Now, the Kintaro is a short to mid-range brawler, is a high alpha get in your face mech. So here's what I think you do to change some things on the Kintaro to make it better at that role. Because what we want to try and improve on is the heat issue. The heat issue is probably the most pertinent issue here. First of all, you take out the LRM. Take out the LRM-5 and you take out the ton of ammo. That gives you 3 tons to work with. Then, to help with some heat mitigation, I have replaced the medium lasers with small lasers. Since the BattleTech Backer Beta allows us to brawl with small lasers to actually make melee attacks, including the small lasers, I don't think that's much of a downside. In fact, I think that's an improvement. The medium lasers as a weapon system always seem a little bit weird when you're flinging a trio of SRM-6s at things. Those are the things that are going to do the most work for you. So we downgrade the 2 mediums to 2 smalls. That frees up 4 tons total. Well, what do we do with 4 tons? The armor coverage is fine, so I think you put 4 tons worth of extra heat sinks onto the mech. Stick them in the side torsos where it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of crit padding. And there you go. You've rebuilt the Kintaro 18 into something that keeps its focus on short to mid-range, high alpha damage, makes it a true brawler by giving it small lasers to fire in addition to any melee attacks it makes, and then gives up that tiny little bit of quote-unquote fire support that the LRM was kind of whatever providing. Like, whatever. It's not a huge sacrifice. So with all of that, I'm going to take a lance of these Kintaro 18R, designated refit, which you'll see SRM, SRM, SRM. Ammo stays the same. Cram in some extra heat sinks. Small lasers where the mediums are. And you'll notice the huge improvement, the absolute huge improvement in heat dissipation. Granted, you're giving up range, but that range is an LRM-5, which, whatever. So I've set up lances. The rebuilt Kintaro 18 on my left in my lance, and on the right, the default Kintaro 18 with a cadre of mech warriors, identical across the way. And in today's match, because the Kintaro is a very heat-sensitive mech, I'm going to play on a map that does not allow for much heat bleed. Again, here we go.
Commencing deployment. Mech warriors, prepare for combat.
Now, unlike yesterday's video with the Jenners, the Jenner F versus the Jenner D, I believe, I expect this to be a much more coherent fight. But we'll see. The AI has been surprising me this week in its questionable ability.
Command interface initiated.
So lovely. So serene.
So,
Awaiting orders.
let's get these Kintaros on the
I'm
move.
here. Ready for orders. You have orders?
One other thing that I feel is important to mention as we roll out here
What's the plan?
back in the mech lab. I am assuming that small lasers, despite being classified as anti-personnel weapons in the beta, will be able to occupy energy hardpoints. I'm hoping that, and I think I've said this before, I'm hoping that the classification of the 3 anti-personnel weapons, small lasers, machine guns, and flamers, will also allow them to be fit into other kinds of hardpoints. Predictably, energy hardpoints for the small laser and the flamer, and ballistic hard points for the machine gun. If that assumption doesn't hold,
Well, what do we have here?
honestly, it doesn't impact this build too much. You just change the smalls back to mediums, and you give up a single heatsink in the process. Your total heat goes up in terms of your alpha strike heat, which
As you wish.
is not ideal, but
Looks like we have
you can work around that, I think. I moved here without really thinking too much about this, so you know what, Paradise, you get to be the tank. Hunker down, my friend. Need to draw them into our lines of fire here. Gonna get anything out of this guy? It's interesting that mech decided to not engage. Is this the beginnings of the AI deciding that it doesn't want to play nice? More importantly, do I care, because I can round the corner and throw my first salvo at this guy? Although that is a lot. That is a lot of movement modifier. Wow, look at those numbers. Those numbers are atrocious. Let's just take a quick peek at why. 20% because our shot modifier is plus 21. 4 for long range, 4 for terrain, which is the mineral field, 12 for target movement, and plus 1 because it's a medium. Wow. So 21. I'm not even sure how that... Trying to do the mental math. Generally speaking, a +1 or a -1 is worth 5% of percent chance to hit influence, but if that's true, that's like 105% shot modifier, and maybe 20% is the literal bottom of the chance to hit scale. I'm super curious. I'm just going to shoot these missiles because I want to see what happens when you're firing at 20% to hit. Our expected value of 18 missiles is like 3.6 missiles hitting. If I'm doing this math right. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, look at that. Snuck a few through that probably probabilistically were not scheduled to hit. Ooh, look at that. And a sensor lock. The AI is suddenly showing infinitely more competence than it did in the last game. Man, oh man. Some interesting bits of location here. I can actually get a line through my own mech.
Affirmative.
Well, it worked out the first time. It's not the best idea to be firing like this. Also, worth pointing out, look at that beautiful heat scale. And we land 2. So, trending back to average. Trending back to our expected value of not many of these missiles hitting. Sensor locked. Okay, listen. AI. I saw you throw the sensor lock on this guy. Kraken sensor locked. You have LRMs. So close to being competent. Alright, so let's continue the march forward here. Almost everybody on the bad guy side has moved. So I want to sprint up. Who hasn't gone? I think it was this guy. Called it. Comes over the top. Let's see who he fires on. If he does at all. The smart target. Kraken and his... Woo, boy. Look at all those missiles.
Oh, Commander. I'm hit.
Alright. Now the real turkey shoot commences. Let's see, Kraken, if you'll be so kind as to... Yeah, that's not great. Not great. Can move up here. Why can't I get this location? There we go. That guy got 4 dots off of a move, a walk, and then fire, which means that's paradise. Kraken actually needs... I get the feeling there's going to be lots of knockdowns in this match. Also, just taking a quick peek at the numbers. The numbers don't improve measurably once I get the SRMs into optimum range. So I'm just going to roll to the left and plunk this guy. Plunk Paradise here with a pile of missiles. And again, now that we can actually see it on the heat scale, 3 SRM6s, tiny little chunk of heat scale bar. That's the kind of stuff we like to see. That shot could have been better. Could have been more missiles applied there, but that's fine. Take what we can get at this point. Indirect LRMs. You could have literally turned the corner. I guess maybe you... Did you shoot last turn? No, you got no heat scale. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. If I just hunker down, that's 45. 60, 65s. That seems alright.
Confirmed.
Woo! Woo! Pop, pop, pop.
Getting banged up pretty good.
Yeah, you can hear that popcorn. Alright.
Standing by.
Apex. I think Wildfire's probably just going to stand there and bulwark up. Apex has no such luxury, so I'd like to move her for at least get her something going here in terms of either... Alright, I like those chances to hit. You can go all the way up to the high 90s. Ooh, go all up to the way... So I can move Apex forward at the risk of getting just totally blasted. Interesting that if I go here, I don't have enough movement to turn. Just enough movement to turn here. So something that is probably worth mentioning about the Kintaro as a chassis, assuming that the hard points are not going to be changeable, that you're just going to have to work with the hard points and the locations of where the weapons are by default. The Kintaro has a slight weakness in its build in that it's not symmetrical. It's symmetrical, sort of. It's got a center torso SRM6, it's got a right torso SRM6, but the left side puts the SRM in the arm. So, if you're fighting Kintaros, ideally you would want to start from the left side and work that arm off because that's going to remove weapons more readily. The trick here for me in this very moment is kind of just settling up a firing line. A very disgusting firing line. How about here? 8085s. I like 8085s. I'm willing to accept 8085s. Let's just line this up in a way that doesn't present any particularly bad position. I don't think this guy is going to be... If this guy wants to come around, he's got to come around in front. Let's knock this guy down.
Firing on target.
Because that certainly can't hurt the cause. That seems good. wildfire's probably going to fall down. That's not great.
Armor breach. Internal damage.
And split fire.
Oh, I'm hit.
Oh, that's just uncouth. That's just uncouth,
How
sir.
might I help?
Alright. So. I can go after this guy that moved up on me, or I can try and down this pilot that's laying on the ground. I think, given the situation, we want to try and kill targets. So. Not a huge fan of giving up my back like that. I want to try and get Paradise to get his full movement modifier, or at least a significant one. How about we do this? No, that seems bad too, because if he crawls up here, I can get a line of sight on him. Three. Ooh, here we go. What's this look like? It's not the worst. This Kintaro can get behind me, but I'm going to count on the rest of my lance to pick up the slack on that front.
Have no doubt it will be done.
He's going to have, if he wants to get behind me, he's going to have to wrap all the way around, which is going to separate him from the rest of his team. I'm going to called shot on the left torso here to hopefully blow out the ammo that's there. Oh yeah, no, these are the correct. These are the defaults of the ammo there, and the LRM, and the SRM-6, and the medium laser. If I can get all that in one salvo, that would be fantastic. Bada bing. There we go. Apparently that guy hadn't gone yet this turn. Which... it's unfortunate for me, but sucks to be him because he's half a mech now. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. Alright. Now I need to protect...
Standing by.
I need to try and protect Wildfire as best I can. I think that means plugging this hole.
On my way.
So far the heat scale is working out in my favor. Keep these alpha strikes up. Let's back up a sec. Can we... ooh, boy, them some bad numbers. We got 60 65s, 50 55s. Actually, I think I'd take a shot at this guy over here, because this guy is untouched, and likewise. So I'm actually going to fire on this one. Slightly better numbers.
I copy.
Since we're relatively early in the fight, I want to try and maximize my chances to land hits, apply damage. I'm not really at a point where I need to take strategic shots on particular targets. I would have loved to take another shot at this damaged Kintaro, but it wasn't likely that I was going to get that chance. Oh boy, center of mass. She might actually just, yep, eat it. And now I'm wondering if I shouldn't have just fired out center of mass on that Kintaro that I had downed. Oh boy. Alright, well,
Standing by. Yes, Commander.
these are the things that we have to think about. I was getting fancy. I probably should have just gone for the kill shot. Speaking of kill shots, how close do I have to be to get these lasers in play? Basically, right up on top of this guy. Right there. Let's do this. Split the difference between him and his friends.
As you wish.
Let's work the rear of this Kintaro.
Unloading a full salvo.
Well, I crit out an SRM-6, which is helpful. I was hoping for more of a lethal shot with that, though.
Aye, aye.
Wonder if Apex can get... doesn't look look like it. She can't really get better position. Is it the left or the right on this guy? This guy's right side is now chewed up. So if I go through the front, it's only got 30 structure left on the right. Can't really get to the right though. So, oh, I want to get those lasers involved. Is it worth giving up potential cover here? There's, you know what, there's so much alpha being flung about with these Kintaros. I think it's actually probably worth giving up the chance of the extra 40 damage from the small lasers to get some cover for my missile shot here. There we go. Now this time I'm not going to go easy on them. I'm going to just go center of mass and blow this guy's torso out because I do not want a repeat of the wildfire situation. Kraken taking some hits, but holding strong. Looking good. Ah, boo. This guy retreating, or is he just moving for position? AI's got a weird sense of wanting to retreat in this fight. Not entirely sure why.
I'm here. Awaiting orders.
Kraken, I can get you back here.
I
I think it's time to start leveraging some damage prevention while we leverage these guns. As the alphas continue to fly.
Awaiting orders.
Interesting. Do I try and push the issue over here? Get up on this guy. Here's an interesting little bit of situation we can take advantage of. I'm gonna push Apex up. She's in good. Her armor. She hasn't really been shot at yet. She has the unique opportunity to multi-target. Put the small lasers on this guy just for a bit of tick damage, and then throw the alpha at the damaged Kintaro over here.
Splitting targets.
Dirty multi-shot tricks. 2 can play at that game yet, punk. There you go. And throw a couple lasers on the old front side of that Kintaro there. Even this matchup at 1 kill apiece. Ooh, Paradise. Paradise about to eat some damage.
Ah, I've got blood in my eyes.
All right.
Reporting.
2 can play at that game, sir. Yeah, we'll go after you because you are just moving, not... Yeah, there we go. Stability warning on Paradise, which is not ideal.
Have no doubt it will be done.
I don't know if I'm going to clear enough stability damage from just a basic move here. Yeah, if I take another SRM alpha like these Kintaros are capable of, I'm pretty sure Paradise is going to get knocked on his ass. It could have been a better salvo. A little better than coin flips is not helping. Dodge, baby. Dodge like your life depends. Yeah. Kind of got
Minimal damage.
that was close. All right, so I actually need to move him next, just to avoid getting spammed down to the ground.
I understand.
Keep building this heat. Keep creeping up towards that threshold. So it's not a heat neutral build. Clearly, I mean, it was never going to be a heat neutral build. Coming from the default Kintaro-18, you would have to make some drastic changes to its loadout Oh, rear shot melee? Really? Oh, you are so getting punished for that.
I'm taking internal damage.
Alright, so first things first. Kraken is going to turn just a smidgen. He's going to light your ass up.
I copy.
Ooh. Is Apex going to get downed? Apex might get downed here.
Took a hard hit there.
Yep. But I believe...
I'm gonna need a medic.
What is going on in this match? Alright, well, Apex
Commander.
can get up. Something about getting knocked down, getting up again, etc., etc. And since we're here, let's think about this for a sec. If I move her here, I'll move her over here somewhere. 80s and 70s to hit, and I still got plenty of heat scale to work with, so there's a lot of compelling argument, I think, to not
On the move.
fire these guns and go for melee instead. I would love to go for melee, but I think as long as you've got heat scale to work with, I think you just keep firing all of the SRMs.
Firing a full salvo.
Since I've got position on this guy to catch his right side,
Target's taking a critical hit.
catch a knockdown, crit out a medium laser. Seems alright. And then we're going to go back to the top of the order, where I can now take advantage of that guy. This guy looks like he's pulling a retreat. No, he's pulling a reposition. Apex can handle it.
Commander, I'm hit.
And we're looking for injuries here. 2 on Kraken, 2 on Apex, 1 on Paradise. You guys are fine. Nothing a band-aid and a lollipop can't fix later.
Orders.
Alright, so that guy moved. That guy has yet to move. This guy moves in phase 2. I need to prevent this guy from doing something heinous to Kraken. So I'm going to
Yes, Commander.
reposition Kraken just a smidge. Just a smidge. Oh, those numbers are bad. Do I not? Of course. Yeah, there. How about this? How about we move for position and just get away from that guy? Running's not the best option because I would love to bleed some heat here, but since I'm not going to get that opportunity, I also don't want to give up my back. So there we go.
Going full throttle.
Turn out into the open. Get some evasion. It's not great. I think I'd almost prefer the cover, but is this guy gonna be able to get a line of sight? Oh yeah, sure enough. Ah boy. Ladies and gentlemen, I will freely admit I don't feel like I am operating at my best here tactically. This feels like just a wild scrum, and I don't feel like I'm really making great decisions with my moves. So, anyone that wants to complain about it, feel free, but
Moving to
be
position.
forewarned. Kinda already know it. Kinda already know I'm bad at this game. We're not taking any chances. Center of mass. Overheat warning. Can't get rid of it by dropping the smalls. I'm gonna take the structure damage.
Targeting for an alpha strike.
Wow! Look at that stream of missiles hit that center torso.
Destroyed.
Woof. Woof.
My mech's heating up. Awaiting
Absolutely absolutely destroyed that Kintaro. Wow.
Of course.
Alright, let's see if we got any heat scale left to work with on Paradise. And the answer is nope. Although, we just drop one SRM-6. Oh, at this point, I would like to get him toward melee, since he is a high piloting skill mech warrior. I believe he'll be going over to curb stomp that guy in a moment. And is here where Kraken eats it from behind? It's definitely rear position. Wow, somehow Kraken did not get downed. That seems like a very poor decision to make. Alright, so this guy's downed. Goes in phase 2. So let's start here. Now, sir, let me show you the proper technique for a Kintaro backstab. Step 1, check your target. Yep, we shot that guy in the back before. Step 2,
Roger.
get behind said target. Step 3, focus. So far,
Hit him hard.
the AI followed all these steps. Step 4, you fire all the guns.
I copy.
All of them. And you don't stop until that guy's completely obliterated.
Destroy.
So that's the thing about Kintaros. Kintaro alphas tend to not leave salvage behind. That might be worth a thing to think about when the campaign rolls around.
Aye, aye.
Very high alpha, very spread damage, as these SRM-6s can be. Yeah, if you just want to drop a dude. Doesn't take a lot. What is this heat scale telling me? Oh, it's not telling me anything yet. Center of mass. And I'm going to shut down. So, let's get the heat back under control, since I don't need to fire every single gun at this guy. Because Paradise is going to walk over here. Let's see. So it's right side. Yep, right side's damaged. Pick the right side. Melee away, my friend. Let's see if we can just clean this up right here. You've got to be kidding. Well,
Critical hit.
he didn't kill it precisely, but he did damage an SRM. Oh, that's right. Let's play some Rock'em Sock'em Robots here. Ow. That's repairs that will need to be done.
That shot went internal.
No, I couldn't tell.
Commander.
Hey, Kraken, you got anything for this? Wow. Flat nothing. Actually, here's a goofy little situation. Let's move Kraken here. He's not going to be able to get anywhere to fire guns or do melee. But in the 11th hour, we can throw a sensor lock on this guy. Get rid of that last bit of movement modifier. So that it, well, just takes another move. Boo. Boo.
I'm hit.
And if it had just, well, I don't know if it's...
Commander, I'm hit.
I'm coming out of this with 3 intact mechs. They're not going to be undamaged, certainly. Oh, also, this guy made a terrible mistake. Can't get to his right side, but I can get behind him.
Location acknowledged.
Probably should have just fired missiles at this guy. Wow, come on, Paradise. Paradise. What are you doing? Literally, what are
Standing
you
by.
Oh, man.
Back in action.
Going to point at your direction.
Moving out.
To turn on my guns. And I'm going to plow you.
Roger that.
Objective complete.
Huh. Ran out of ammo there. But,
Mission successful.
minor detail, not important. Managed to down the Kintaro anyway. And there you go. A rough tactical outing on my part, but a victory nonetheless with the Kintaro-18 refit. Not my best performance, but I'm willing to take it. And I think that if nothing else, we come away with some better understanding. Probably another change that wouldn't hurt to be made would be to take one of these ammo bins that are in the right torso and move it to the head. I know that seems crazy to pack the underside of the cockpit seat with high explosives, but it's the USIC way, and honestly, if you're going to die to a head hit, you're kind of going to die to a head hit, so whatever. The likelihood that you get armor stripped and then crit and then hit the ammo versus just getting your whole head structure blown out kind of seems like a good place to put ammo in my mind. Other than that, I think I am happy with this redesign. It is super heat efficient compared to the base Kintaro, which is like job number one in trying to fix that design, I think. Being able to alpha all 3 SRMs for, I want to say like 4, 5, 6 rounds in a row before hitting the top of the heat scale is keeping up that kind of alpha strike pressure. SRM-18 is no joke when you're getting hit by it, and evidenced by the number of knockdowns in that match. Certainly a thing you can be capable of, especially if you can keep that pace of fire up. Poor old Wildfire. Man, you got jobbed. Meanwhile, the enemy forces kind of just your typical blow the crap out of them and then they fall over dead. In from one side, in from one side, in from the other side. This poor Kraken got downed and just drilled. 10 rounds, 31 minutes and 58 seconds in what I think is a reasonable outing for a refit Kintaro. And hopefully this has been interesting enough to you, the viewer, that you would like to see more of this kind of video. If you have an opinion on mechs that could use a refit, mechs that you would like to see redone or tinkered with, let me know in the comments, because I would actually like to know. Also, if you have a custom design of any of these particular mechs that are in the game and would like to see that on BattleTech in the morning, I'm open to suggestions. I like hearing feedback, so if there's something you'd like to see, a la Silent Gob's Hunchback from a couple of weeks back, throw it in the comments. Shoot me a message via the YouTubes. Tell me what you think. I think this has been pretty good, but I also think that's all for today's BattleTech in the morning. I am your grease monkey in the mech lab, Captain Nips, tuning up your mechs so we can throw them into battle once more. Hoping that all of you out there have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night. A wonderful day. And I will see you in the next video.